Hey everybody, welcome back to Everything MTG. My name is Justin. We're glad to have you here. Today we're going to be covering some of the spoilers for Ravnica Allegiance. Technically, the spoilers aren't supposed to kick off until after Christmas, sometime early January, but they're releasing a couple cards here and there as the promos for some of the events and to explain how some of these mechanics work. So it's pretty nice that we're getting these a little early because I've been waiting pretty on the edge of my seat for these because I really am enjoying Guilds of Ravnica. The pre-release will be going down on January 19th, and the actual set release for this is going to be January 25th. So not too terribly far away. Just about, about a month at this point for pre-release, and then a little more than a month for actual release. So we're going to start with Light Up the Stage, 2 and a red for a sorcery with Spectacle Red. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. So Spectacle is the Rakdos ability. Basically, it just allows you to play the spell for an alternate cost, and then typically if you pay that alternate cost, you'll get a better effect. In this scenario, the alternate cost is cheaper, so you're just able to play this for a cheaper cost. Now there's some other cards in here where the spectacle cost is actually more than the mana cost that you would normally pay for the spell, and you'll get a better effect for that. I think this card's pretty great. I mean, exiling things from the top of your library and being able to play it is a very typical red thing to do. Being able to do it for 1 is pretty awesome. And it says until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So they last through the current turn, and you'll be able to play them on the next turn, which is amazing. We have Mortify, reprint of course, one white, one black, and 1 for an instant. Destroy target creature or enchantment. The art on this for the promo looks simply amazing. I would love to have one of these, might have to make that happen. We have Growth Spiral, 1 green, 1 blue for an instant. Draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. This card is amazing. It's also a common, which is crazy. You never see effects that let you draw a card and put a land onto the battlefield from your hand at instant speed. I mean, there's so many ridiculous applications that could have, for Maze of Ith or Strip Mine or anything else. If you're playing Commander, maybe even in Standard, being able to drop a land at instant speed and draw a card is just so ridiculous. I think this card is amazing. We have Rakdos Firewheeler, which is 2 black and 2 red for a 4/3 human rogue. When Rakdos Firewheeler enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Not a bad card. 4/3 for 4. It deals 2 damage to your opponent and 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker. Very typical red effect. There's things out there right now that do something similar. So it's cool to continue the trend. We have the Haunt of Hightower. Now this is going to be the buy a box promo. You're not going to be able to pull this in the actual set. I don't know if you knew that, Amanda. Yeah, this actually is the buy a box promo. It's 4 and 2 black for a 3/3 legendary vampire. This card is mythic. It has flying and lifelink. Whenever the Haunt of Hightower attacks, defending player discards a card. Whenever a card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, put a 1/1 counter on the Haunt of Hightower. This can get pretty ridiculous if you're playing a discard strategy, mass discard strategy, or draw strategy like wheeling in Commander. So I think this can be very, very good. The problem is playing mono black if you're going to use him as your commander, and he's also quite expensive, but pretty good card. I don't know how I feel about it being the buy a box promo though. I feel like there could be something better that could be the buy a box promo. We have Simic Ascendancy, which is 1 green and 1 blue for an enchantment. You can pay 1 a green and a blue to put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever 1 or more 1/1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. So this is an excellent and very cheap alternate win condition for Commander, and this fits right into Atraxa. This is going to accelerate Atraxa so much. I mean, I can see this being an auto-include. Our next card up is Rix Mahdi Reveler, which is 1 red and 1 for a 2/2 human shaman. This has Spectacle 2, black, and red. So the official flavor on this says you may cast a spell for a Spectacle cost rather than the mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. So the modifier for being able to use Spectacle is your opponent has to lose life. You can't just pay the Spectacle cost because you want to. That would be pretty OP. Anyways, Rixmati Reveler enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. If Rixmati Reveler's Spectacle cost was paid, instead discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. It's very reminiscent of the Flame of Keld, the saga that makes you discard your whole hand, and then you draw 2 cards, and then this, that, and the other thing. I think this card is really great. Having to pay the extra 2, and especially paying the black to get the Spectacle off on it, is kind of unfortunate, but it would fit right into a Rakdos deck, and drawing those cards would be pretty great. So I think this can be a really great card. We have Rafter Demon, which is 2, a red and a black for a 4/2 with Spectacle, 3, a red and a black. When Rafter Demon enters the battlefield, if its Spectacle cost was paid, each opponent discards a card. I don't know how I feel about this card. I probably wouldn't play it in Commander. Well, maybe play it in Standard. I don't know. Depends on how the meta goes. Not so sure about this card. Our next card up is Ravnica Allegiance Renegade. Yes, Lavinia's back. 1 blue, 1 white for a 2/2 legendary human soldier. So this is an Azorius commander. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. The promo for this looks amazing. Even the regular art for it looks great too. A lot of people are saying this is going to change the landscape of like Legacy or Modern, and I could see that. The way I understand that this works is this would shut down Storm pretty hard, if I'm understanding that correctly. And of course it has multiple other implications. I would definitely play her as a commander, or maybe even in another Azorius commander deck, just as part of the 99. So this card's amazing. Our next card is Tithe Taker, which is 1 white and 1 for a 2/1 human soldier. During your turn, spells your opponent's cast cost 1 more to cast, and abilities your opponents activate cost 1 more to activate, unless they're mana abilities. It also has Afterlife 1. The Afterlife mechanic is the Orzhov mechanic for this set. So what Afterlife is, when this creature dies, create X white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. So you have Afterlife 1, and I believe this is how it works. If you have Afterlife 1, you're going to get 1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. If you have Afterlife 2, you're going to get 2. They haven't, I don't know if they went over it completely, where, Amanda, how do you understand it? If it's, if Afterlife 2 is, it's a 2/2, you get 1, but it's a 2/2. Or is Afterlife, like, you get 2 if you have Afterlife 2? You think you get 2? I believe that's what it is as well. There's an article, oops, dropped something. There's an article out there on MTG Daily. Y'all can look up. That'll explain the mechanic more clearly. I'll have to look into it. Anyways, it's a very Orzhov ability, and I think it's going to be absolutely crazy for limited, this Afterlife ability. Aside from that, aside from the entire Afterlife thing, Tithe Taker and its own abilities is utterly insane. This card is going to be amazing. I mean, that that would fit right in with Lavinia too, which is hilarious if you're playing her in a commander deck. We have Gate Colossus, which is an 8-drop, 8/8 artifact construct. It costs 1 less to cast for each gate you control. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard on top of your library. Not sure how I feel about this card. I personally don't think it's that great. We see one of these cards in like every set. Something very similar to this, so it's just another one of those. Imperious Oligarch? Is that what it is? Yeah, Oligarch. 1 black and 1 white for a 2/1 human cleric with Vigilance and Afterlife 1. Yet again, another amazing limited, and this is common. Tithe Taker is a rare, if anybody's curious. This is a common, and that's going to be absolutely crazy and limited. It's a 2/1 for 2. It's got Vigilance. It's got Afterlife. I mean, what more could you want? That's so good. I think Orzhov is going to kill it in limited this time around. Our next card is Aeromunculus. So this is a 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 for a 2/3 Homunculus Mutant. has flying. You can pay 2, a green and a blue to adapt 1. Adapt is the Simic ability for this set. So adapt is if this creature has no 1/1 counters on it, put a 1/1 counter on it. So I guess a lot of this stuff is probably going to fit in well with Atraxa because it's all in her colors, Simic, you know. So Atraxa is going to get some pretty nice cards out of this set. We have Zagana, Utopian Speaker, which is 2, a green and a blue for a 4/4 legendary Merfolk Wizard. Yet another Merfolk added to the ranks. When Zagana, Utopian Speaker, enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with a 1/1 counter on it, draw a card, and of course you will. You can pay 4, a green and a blue to adapt 4. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has trample. So this card is utterly crazy. I mean, 4/4 for 4 is not bad. It could be a little hard to cast because it's got the Simic in there. Drawing a card off of it because something has a 1/1 counter is going to be so easy and super beneficial. It's basically just going to cantrip itself, and then being able to adapt 4 and make it an 8/8 is like utterly ridiculous. So this is going to fit right into Atraxa as well for Commander. Amanda, would you play that in Limited if you had it?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would play it in Limited either. I mean, I would have to see what else I would pull. I mean, this could be a crazy bomb, though. So, I don't know. Looks cool. Our next card here, I'm not sure if this is the actual name. It's in, I don't know, it's in Spanish or something like that, or German? Maybe. I don't know. It looks like it's called Afres, but that can't possibly be translated correctly into English. Maybe it is, but it doesn't seem right. Anyways, it's 2 black and a red for an instant spell. It's rare, and it destroys target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. So I think this is a pretty good card. The fact that it hits so many things, an artifact, a creature, or a planeswalker, is pretty amazing, at instant speed especially. The only unfortunate thing is it's a double black and red, which is going to make this extremely hard to cast, especially in like a standard level format. If you're playing this in Commander, I mean, you can definitely make it work. I don't know if you would want to play this in Commander, but in Standard, I don't know. It could be difficult to do. You definitely have to play around with the mana base to make that work effectively. Anyways, that is all the cards for today. I'll make sure to put up the promos and the regulars of each one of these cards if they're available. That way you guys can see both. And we will keep up with the spoilers as they're coming around sometime in early January. Anyways, guys, if you want to keep up with the spoilers with me, go ahead and subscribe and throw out a like if you enjoyed this video or you enjoy any of the rest of the content. Share with your friends if they like Magic the Gathering content or they haven't heard about these Ravnica Allegiance spoilers. And we'll see you right here next time on Everything MTG. Peace.